Hello, everyone. I'm doing a little in between streams situation here. I was going to clean up some odds and ends and report back to you on that at the start of the next stream, but I didn't want to go anywhere before we long rested and go to camp for the first time. I would love to do this on stream with all of you, but I also want to make some progress in this game. So if we hope to do that in our next stream, I think we better get a move on. So let's go to camp for the very first time. This is our campsite, and everyone has their own little areas where they stay. It'll change depending on what environment that we're in, but while we are in the wilderness, this is mostly what it will look like. Up here we have our traveler's chest that we can send things to camp. When we have our bags open and right click on them, we can send to camp, and that will go in this chest here. I have the deluxe version of the game because I was in early access, and that gave me some starting items for free. So we can take these and take a look at them if we'd like to. This is a Mask of the Shapeshifter. This will help us disguise ourselves if we need to do so. We also have a peculiar clothing chest. Now these aren't worth anything in terms of like money, but it does make a nice little outfit. We have a really pretty cape here. We've got a bicorn of the sea beast hat. I won't be wearing that, but it's cute. We have a lute in case we had a bard in the party. We also have this dagger, which looks really cool, but our short swords, alas, are better, so we won't be using it. We also have some extra food and some potions that will help us out. So I'm going to take all of those, and we can send... Nope, this was the box I mentioned in the last stream. Almost forgot that I want to keep all of our scrolls in because it's a little fancy looking chest. It does weigh 10 pounds, which is obviously more than a backpack weighs, but it's not too much extra, and the different icon helps me kind of sort things through my belongings. The rest of these camp supplies we can go ahead and send to camp. I do like to split up my supply packs because there's kind of like a little buggy glitch in the long rest screen, which I'll show you in a moment, where if you have to split an item in that screen, it like disappears from your inventory for a little bit that I've been having issues with. So I like to separate these when we have them and keep one on my person. But mostly I just send food to the camp so that I don't have to carry around the extra weight. If you right click in camp too, you'll notice that some of your companions, not all of them, but some of them have like herb bundles that are at their camps that you can pick up every time you come to camp, and that will be really helpful. As our first time in camp, we're going to have some conversations tonight, but let's go ahead and hit the long rest or the end of the day button here on our sleeping bags and get everyone prepped for bedtime. We have our bedtime attire, and everyone will get nice and cozy. This is a screen I like to have an extra bag of supplies in my bag for, because if you don't have them on your person, it will tell you that you don't have enough food even if you have food in your chest. So I just like to do that. You can still long rest without enough camp supplies, but you will only get, I think, half of your hit points and spell slots back. I don't do that very often. There's plethora of food in this game that you can pick up and loot off of things, so it's never been a problem. All right, as we get cozy for the day, you can see it is nighttime, and all of our companions would like to have introductory conversations with us. This is why I was trying to avoid like starting the stream off with this, because it's going to take a really long time, and this way I can edit it down a little bit for you guys.
Finally, some good fortune. Come morning, we know what to do. The sooner we find the druid house in, the better. I can't wait to get rid of this thing in my head.
All right, and we have the option of talking with her if we would like to. We can say, what comes next for you? How are you feeling? You know, this could be our last night together? Wow, okay. Well, let's go with what's next for you, just to get to know her a little bit.
Head to Baldur's Gate. Someone's waiting for me.
I think that we have our options here to either like pry further or change the subject. Since this is our first conversation ever, we don't know Shadowheart super well. I Denise, know how she's going to react to this, but Payne doesn't, so let's ask who.
Let a girl have some secrets. Was there anything else?
Shadowheart is very big on our secrets, as we will learn throughout this playthrough. We could push in deeper here. That is absolutely not Payne's go-to. Let's just ask how. We don't have the option to leave right now, so let's say, how are you feeling?
The same. These parasites are proving suspiciously benign. But suppose I turn. What would you do?
I don't know if I've had this conversation a whole lot with Shadowheart in this manner. With this different character, we're getting some different dialogue options. So I'm gonna say no hesitations. I just enter misery then and there and see how she reacts to that.
Wise. Though, I hope you'd miss me after I'm gone. I think I would if the positions were reversed. But you're right. If we're to make it through all this, there can be no room for hesitation. You're doing well. It's a beautiful night. I think I'll stay up to enjoy it while I still can. Rest well.
All right. When a character is done talking to you, it'll automatically kind of kick you out of the conversation. Sometimes you can restart the conversations and see how that goes. There's a fellow over here. We'll talk to him a little bit, but let's make our way counterclockwise around.
You know, I've been thinking, reflecting on what tomorrow might bring. When we find the druid, will he know how to bring the worm under control? Will this little adventure of ours be over?
Flying very suggestively there. You know, at this point in Payne's journey, I think she's just thinking about getting through this and like, all right, well, we'll get going afterwards.
A pity. A great pity. You're quite the ally after all. Traversing Avernus, surviving the crash, surviving everything that's followed. I'm not normally impressed by people of your stature, but you're stronger than I gave you credit for.
Wow. Haven't gotten that option either. Let's kind of say true. I'm pretty impressive.
Aren't you just?
I think we did this in our last stream, right? Where we just like walked away from a conversation. I would like to try and see what that does.
Sleep tight. I'll see you later. I'm sure.
Wow, got some camp flirting going on already, and we don't even have our intended companion. I don't know why our blades are drawn in camp. That's a choice. Let's see what Lae'zel has to say.
Evening, don't you think? The moonlight shines warmly on us. The breeze caresses our faces. Hideous. All of it. Would that I were doing battle up there, among the tears.
By tears, I'm pretty sure she means, you know, the stars. So let's go ahead and say if Rune isn't so bad, let's just give it a chance.
I see naught but cowards cowering in their groves and grottos. Flowering meadows and fecund soil have softened their minds and muscles. They rely on strangers' swords when they should be forging their own.
All right, and we're just gonna leave that conversation too.
Waste your resting time. Come dawn, we resume our search for a crash.
All right, Wyll wants to say something too. No, Gale doesn't want to talk to us. That's fine.
A tingle runs through your head and down to your feet.
Ah, there it is. That shiver. Our little brainworms have made fast friends, it would seem. How do you feel?
I'm caught between nervous, I don't like the idea of that thing in my brain, or I'm more interested in how you feel. But let's just say nervous for now. I think we're not really sure of the situation.
It's natural to suffer a touch of worry, but an illithid worm should be causing more than mild anxiety. Before the illithid's unscheduled surgery, I'd felled hundreds of beasts and a fair few fiends. The tadpoles weakened me, suppressed greater talents, but beyond that, have showed no signs of turning. No nausea, no pain, not even a hot flash.
We have some interesting options here, but let's go with something special about us, or at least about our tadpoles.
Indeed. Perhaps the worm's vat was poisoned. Perhaps we're uncommonly fit. Or perhaps the tadpoles are merely on holiday. We could conjecture all night. I suppose the why doesn't matter so much as the what next. And that answer is plain as the horns on a war devil's head. We get these things out. Let's get some rest. dawn comes sooner than we think.
All right, and then just to show you, you can start up conversations with people who don't have exclamations over their head, but they may or may not have anything like important to say.
I've known a few warlocks in my time.
Or in the case of
Talented,
Gale,
of course, they're sometimes too eager
we'll
to
still
listen
have plenty
to the
to
devils
say.
on their shoulders. Comes with the territory, unfortunately.
All right, so you can see we don't have any of the custom dialogue options on him. We can either ask him to tell more about ourselves, more about himself, since we're just getting to know each other, or we can switch out party members. So I guess I didn't cover that either, but if I wanted to switch out a party member that is already in my party, I could go over to them
The Blade of Frontiers at your calling.
and say, I'd like you to wait for me now in camp. And each companion has their own different reaction to that. But once you are down to 3 members of your party, you can go to someone else and ask them to join your party. So that's what that option is for. We do have a little beach down here. And our friend Withers.
We meet again, as predicted. I shall be here in thy camp, for whenever thou hast need of my services.
And this is the first time we're seeing him in our camp. A little alarming, so we have a number of options to choose from. Let's ask, what kind of services can a skeleton offer?
A mending of the threads between life and death. Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave soul to body once more.
All right, so what he can do for us is he can help us to resurrect fallen companions as long as someone is alive in camp to come ask for those services, or he can help respec us as well. So if we want to change our class, he'll give us that option too. Let's just say no one's dead at the moment, though.
Indeed. Farewell.
All right, so he's just gonna hang out down here by the water until we need him. We can head on back over. Actually, one more thing. I think one of these chests will have something extra for us. Get a little extra money and a coin. There's usually like one thing in camp that has something extra in it that we can pick up, and I think, yeah, Gale has some more mugwort. There's also a ball on the ground that may be helpful a little bit later. So now we're ready. Let's
simple enough.
come and end our evening. Here we have our long rest screen and the supply list that I told you about. It is showing plenty of food options that we have here, but we can tell it to auto select and it should come up with a number close to the number we need. Sometimes it's not precise. Get our first little cut scene for the evening with Astarion sneaking out of camp. And then we wake up. So the first thing I actually forgot was to pick up the treasure in Wither's sarcophagus in the temple. So let's go run over there real quick. I think I was just so focused on the stream that I entirely forgot. So here we go. Has some pretty important things in here. So we have a soul coin, which I believe we've encountered already. Yes, we have a couple of those here, so we can add that to our pile. We also have some potions and some oils that we can add to our weapons and everything. So we're just going to loot all of that. And then we have one more stop back in the Emerald Grove, so I will meet you there. All right, we are back in the underground passage where I also was caught up in the stream and completely forgot to head over to this island. Now, I was trying to get to this before this recording and failed really badly. So we have 2 party members that physically cannot make this jump. They're not strong enough. So we have Shadowheart and Lae'zel who can both do this, and both of them failed their perception checks to find something that was buried over there. So again, only something that I know from previous playthroughs, but when I jumped up here, it did say failed perception check. I am curious if I am allowed to dig up here without getting that perception check. So you do have, if you have a shovel, you can double click it and place it on the ground somewhere. Oh, it did work. Okay, cool. So if you are playing multiple games and you know that there's a chest somewhere buried, but you're not, like, you failed your perception checks, you can use the shovel to do that. So I can open this chest and we get some ingredients for potions and some money. And we're also going to come down here to this corpse. This is the rune that we turned off before. We're going to go ahead and open this. This key opened the chest that we lockpicked and used multiple lockpick sets over there that I just forgot there was a key for. I also have a healing potion and some gold. And I did want to try one more thing. I moved the amulet for Speak with Dead over to Shadowheart since she's the one who could make this jump. I've never talked to this NPC and I don't know if we can, but I'm curious as to why there is a dead person back here. Without other explanations. So let's try it.
The corpse does not respond.
Aw, shucks. Okay. It will just remain a mystery. And that's what happens when you come across corpses that don't have any lines or pertinent information. But I am curious as to why they died down there. All right, that's going to do it for today. I just wanted to wrap up that camp and those loose ends for the 2 treasure areas that we didn't cover, and I will see you in the next stream.